Thank you for the intro. Also, you should be seeing Jeff Bright is joining me today, and Jeff did a great layout today about how to train, how to get the principle here is how do we get people working a full-time job when they say they're full-time, a minimum of 40 hours a week, and how do we train people to write 50, 60 appointments a week, go on 50 appointments a week? How do we get people to that level? And then so we bring on the new people, how to train them. What's a step-by-step psychological process that I think some of us are following. Some of us, I mean, if you rank us, some of us are right on it and some of us are way off, and then a lot of in between. So what we want to try to do is try to nail down the training and say, look, if you're being trained, this is the way you should be trained. If you're training somebody, this is how it should go down, so that basically we get more success stories of people that we bring on board, that they get over that edge and start writing that $10,000 issue paid a week that we see everybody doing. How do we get it to 100 people? How do we get 300 people doing 10,000 a week? That's the concept that we're getting to. So got a good training layout. I want to do some recognition. It looks like we've got a few people that have joined us. I want to introduce them in a minute here. But Tia, if you would pull up that first, the weekly leaderboard, the activity leaderboard. We got some cool people I want to recognize. Joseph 2, he just keeps on hitting it out of the park. He's doing high in recruiting. Here he is with 10 life apps submitted, 28,000. Mark Hutchinson continues to rip heads off, 23 apps submitted for 26,000. And Mercedes Gustavo, way to go, Mercedes, comes rocking in there with 12 apps for 17,000. Best week I think she's had in a long time. Okay, as we scroll down to the issue paid, we continue back with Mark Hutchinson again. Issued 23 apps for 26,000. Look at that. Right in track. Submitted 26, issued 26. That's a smoking week. Justin and Sydney Baylett on here again. There they are. They're on the video. If you can see them, you'll see them in a minute if you can't see them yet. 20 apps, 19,000 in a week. I think that's your most solid week you've had in a long time as far as number of apps and premium. Not just one big one, but 20 big ones for 19,000 issue paid. A lot, very great consistency, Sydney and Justin. Megan Wood, as usual, 39 applications, 17,900. That's smoking. Way to go, Megan Wood. I think she's written 6 as of today and got caught up on a line with one of them right now. She'll be jumping on in a minute, but already wrote 6 applications today. Smoking, Megan Wood. That per Mike and Noel Leventovich who are on this call. Billy Crane, 17 apps issued in a week for 13,000. There it is. Those are 4 people issued over 10,000 this week, and not close either. 13,900, way over 10,000. Olga Mathis come in with 14 apps issued for 9,600. Terry Edwards, 5 apps for 9,500. Marvin and Rachel Osuna, 9,000, over 9,000 issued, 8 apps. Dan, let me make sure, Dan Mirdo, Adam Katz's team. Good job, Dan. Dan issued over 9,000 with 10 apps. Linda Cook, Lindar, not Linda Cook, but Lindar Cook, coming in with 8 apps, part of Patton's team. She's just been killing it. They're talking all kinds of crazy junk. How the Paul Roberts team's taken over with Jeremy Patton and Dr. Hebert. Paul Van Thoff. I was talking to Paul Menachino earlier. Paul Van Thoff on Menachino's team issued 6 for over $8,000. Alfonso Thomas, new guy coming on strong, part of the Leventovich team, issued 8,000 with 7 apps. And Chris Manifold, over 8,000 issued, 13 apps, being trained by Leventovich and trained by Megan Wood. So clearly good training there. When you see a guy that's that new coming on issue paying 8,000 a week, he'll soon be at over 10,000 a week, and he's starting to train other people. So that's strong stuff. Annuity producers, there he is. Dr. Phil Hebert issued 150,000. Brittany Flores issued 100,000. Vinny Napoli. Way to go, Vinny. Got a $67,000 one issued. Evan Patzer got one issued for $60,000. And DJ Jennings, part of James Hill Group, 40,000. Top 3 foresters: Lindar Cook, top forester producer, Paul Van Thal, and Cameron Ashcroft, top 3 forester producers. And I noticed we get down into leaderboard, Ashcroft, he's moved up into the money, like $750. Top foresters producer last 2 months. Down to top recruiters, John Thorman. Oh my gosh, Mr. Thorman then got in the groove. 9 recruits. Down under Michael Owens, Paul Roberts' team, 9 recruits. Andy Riddle put in 9. Jane Bazan keeps coming in under Olga and Jason Mathis. She put in 5. Paul Roberts and Corey put in 5. Alex Avian put in 3. Stephen Holly Davies put in 3. Fitzgerald 3. Terry and Tia Edwards 3. And our base put in 2. So great week. Great stuff happening. I think it's one of our biggest submit weeks we've had in since this Extreme Manager bonus started. So numbers are looking crazy good, heading in the right direction. All right, let's flip over to the other leaderboards, Tia. I think we got the foresters. This is what I want to show you. Stephanie Rodriguez is on board to win. Let's look. See if you can follow this leaderboard. She's beat all the rookies and beat all the veterans right in Foresters production. Our main carrier that just basically carries us through a lot, she comes on and outrights the veterans. Cameron Ashcroft, which is fairly new, he's been with us a couple of years. He's number 2. Looks like he's going to rake in 750. Jonathan and Megan coming in for 500. Bel Airs. Charlene's coming in there. Adam, Olga, and Jason. And then let's go down to rookie. So you got Stephanie Rodriguez and Chris Manifold, who was just talking about Chris under Megan Wood, and Gary Engel coming in. And by the way, I want to encourage agency managers. With me, when I'm talking about the whole company, I can't recognize but so many people. But if each of your agency managers will do your own leaderboards, I would show them where they rank as a company and where they rank in your agency so they see how they're competing. You want them competing in the big pond, the alliance pond, but you also want to do a lot of recognition in your pond, in the smaller agency manager group, and maybe even include your upline managers group if you're part of a bigger hierarchy. Okay, let's go down to what's next. I think we've got, is it Foresters next? The double fanatic, the fanatics are next. These are people that wrote over 40,000 and issued, I think, a minimum, I can't remember the minimum apps. You can't have 2. That's why you had Patrick DeShaw. Patrick, I would encourage you, if you would go ahead and write a few more apps, we'd give you $1,000 more. I think that'd be pretty cool. I'm experiencing some technical difficulty here, but I'll work through it. So Megan Wood is won $1,000, earned $1,000, I should say. Mark Hutchinson and Billy Crane. Patrick DeSalle, so close, just needs a few more apps. Jonathan and Megan Yankee, so close. Actually, all you need is over 30,000. So Jonathan and Megan are very close. And then on the annuity side, we got Phil Aber. Phil, get one more app issue, get another $1,000 bonus cash. I got you at 450,000. Need to have 500,000 for $1,000 bonus. Okay. All right. Let's go down to what's next. Leaders, and all these are going to be posted. So managers that have already won. These are the people that are already going to Thailand with us. Terry and Tia Edwards, Brant Swindale. Let's go down to the new agency, the new leaders or winners with the alliance. Here we go. Jan Miller, congratulations, Jan Miller has earned a trip, and Dr. Phil Hebert. Real close. Lee Reyes right there. Jason Tony right there. Balick is right there. Marvin Rachel Osuna. So you can see all these are going to be posted. Let's scroll back down a little bit to see who's leading the way. I want to show you how many people are already won Chiang Mai. Let's go backwards a little bit. There we go. Megan Wood has already won Chiang Mai and about to win a trip for 4 people to Chiang Mai, to Phuket, Thailand, and Chiang Mai. How you argue with that kind of logic? Mark Hutchinson, Katrina Gustin, Paul Menachino's already won a trip to Chiang Mai, Phuket. Thailand and Chiang Mai. Jonathan and Megan Yake have already won it. James and Jane Hill have already won it. And Kyle and Janina Wilson have already won it. Okay, let's go down to the next leaderboard. I think we're into, let's go on down to the Rolex. All right, here we go. Evan Patzer wants to point out that he is now in the running. You see him at number 13. He's going to get a Rolex. He says he's going for number 1. He's going to take the top recognition and take it away from Megan Wood. So Megan, I would not quit. I would not let up. Of course, she already written 6 apps today. I don't think she's lighting up. Here's the crazy thing. When you look at, she's at 399,000. Mark Hutchinson, 327. How quickly it gets down to less than 200,000. It's pretty daggum impressive what Katrina Gustin's doing and Paul Menachino's doing. I talked to Paul this morning. He is like, man, I'm getting ready to crank it back up. Personal production go through the roof. So he might be shooting for number 1. Jonathan and Megan Yake have really, they come from way down, 26 or 27. Now they're up at number 5. James and Jane Hill solid at number 6. Janina Wilson is pouring it on. Adam Johnson looking to get another Rolex. Junior Korea. Brant and Jail Swindown. No, Brant's going for number 1 again. Marcus and Kyle Richardson and Robert Wilson in there. Robert Wilson in there for a Rolex. Okay. All right. Let's go to the let's go back to the split screen where I can see my people. I want to do some introductions, and then I want to get into the slides. Yeah. All right, who we got on us? Mike and Noel. Mike and Noel, would you guys say hello? So the high level, what's been going on your team?
Happy to be here, and really grateful to be in a business that's growing, that's innovating, or we have a chance to become a partner. I mean, you look at all the craziness in the world, and don't look at it for too long because it'll mess you up. But to have it as good as we have it right now, it's like I wake up daily trying to be grateful. You know, it's like people want to tell you about the junk. It's just like, yeah. I got an opportunity. Noel and I, we have an opportunity, and everybody here has an opportunity. So first thing is excited to be alive in this time, as crazy as that can sound. You know, don't be a 2020 downer. We're 2020 uppers. I don't know about y'all. But that's the first thing. And in terms of our business, we had one of our best months in July, and in August is shaping up to be even better in terms of what people are doing. There is more commissions running into our organization that have ever run through in terms of agents that have already crossed over 100,000 and 200,000 a year. And we're going to have more agents hitting 300 and 400 and 500,000 commissions this year than we've ever seen. So that part is extremely exciting. We talk more about how it's happening and other new people that are stepping up and hitting their first 10,000 submit weeks and 10,000 issued weeks in their first 20 and 25 and 30,000 issued paid months. So there's a lot going on. We'll hit on some of the things that people are doing and the coaching they're getting to do that. Noel?
Yeah, thanks for having us on. I echo what Mike said there. I mean, we were just talking with Andy this morning. Our piece of the business is up like 33% year over year, and it's just continuing to grow, and the whole alliance is up. So we're fired up about that, and excited about some new people we have coming on. Andy spent some time with two young couples we had. I met him out in Nashville the other day, and we just got more people that are excited and want to hit the ground running and want to invest and move fast, which is great because now we get the ability just to put everything on the line and not to have to worry about a lot of the stuff. So you can hit the ground running fast. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, I see Megan Wood jumped on. Megan, I guess you just come out of a house writing checks to make sure everybody keeps looking at your rear end. Gotta unmute me. There you go.
That's right, Andy. That's right. I'm actually getting ready to head into another one, but I wanted to hop on here. So
everybody's looking at your taillights. You're just smoking them, girl.
That's what I'm trying to do. I ain't letting up.
Is the money piling up? You got 100,000 in the bank yet, or did you decide to drop 20 grand on a car or something?
I got 110,000. I'm fired up. I love it. I love it.
Like, you go, I got $250,000 in the bank. How about that?
I know, right?
I've got a chargeback. Could you not take all of it back this week? I really needed to pay my bills. Like, really? Really? Be like Megan Wood. Everybody can't be like her. Some people have to sleep in.
Her life is so easy.
What's so easy?
People say her life must be so easy.
Oh, yeah.
Must have the perfect life.
Well, you know, you got a perfect psychological balance to your life and perfect mom and dad. And
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
in your life, perfect kid in your life.
Right. Just perfect.
Takes him left out, picks up his own poop, puts it in the.
Yeah. He just pretty much takes care of himself. I really have no hard things to deal with.
Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you. The greatest, I've said this for many times. I've bought a lot of things, rented, bought. I don't be nice about it, but Dale, the Yardman brand. When we got Dale, the Yardman brand, that joker. Now we got Justin now, but I'm gonna tell you what, it was a life changer for me. While I'm down here at the beach, I got a dadgum door that's squeaking. I got a TV, 2 TVs that won't come on. I haven't even got 10 down here, but 2 of them won't come on. And my furniture that I got from Thailand and shipped it over here, got it out of my yard. It needs to be wiped down. My grill won't stay lit in one section that I want. I just told Jane, I said, this is not going to work out for Albright. I am not going to become a handyman. I'm not working 10, 15 hours. I mean, stuff needs to be dusted down, wiped down, cleaned, light bulbs. That's where you're going to be next. I don't even know. I'm just telling you. I know it sounds like I'm complaining. That's because I am. I don't like it. I'm going to get a fix. I'm getting me a handyman brand. So, just so you know, my life ain't perfect right now either. But
that's trouble. It's hard.
Can't decide if I want a new pet. Take it down and show it to Justin and Sydney and see what they think next week. The guy said he has some Porsches out there for us to look at too. Megan Wood. How do you keep? I don't even know. We just want you to stay on track. Put $250,000. I guess you're pretty strong addicted to it, right? You just right in there.
I'm pretty strong. I'm strongly into my addiction. No, I mean it's true. Like, I mean, it's really true. I mean,
is your mom and dad, they still think you're working too much?
Oh yeah. Like, I had this. I'll give you an example. I had this my AT&T bill. I thought they were just pulling it out of my account. Like, I wouldn't even think anything of it. 3 months go by. She's like, have you paid your AT&T bill? I'm like, yeah, they're supposed to be just taking it out of my account. And so anyways, they weren't taking it out of my account. I hadn't paid for 3 months. I'm like, what the heck? You guys were supposed to be taking it out of my account. She's like, you just need to take some time out for yourself to make sure these things get done. Like, isn't that why I have an assistant? Like, I mean, shouldn't they be doing that? Whatever.
It's time for yourself to get caught up on your bills and see.
But I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I was really, really strong into my eating disorder, and I was really, really strong into my drug addiction, and I don't stop. Like, I never will. I never will. I mean, like, now I am just really, really strong into this addiction, but I love it. I love it. I love what they said. We were on a call the other day with Mike and Noel, and we had said that if you are not tired, then you're not working hard enough. And like, that is huge because, I mean, we're all tired. The ones that are working hard, I'm tired, but I'm gonna keep going because that's what I live for. Like, that is what feeds me. I would be more tired if I stopped. So I'm just I'm never going to stop. I love it.
Do you know where you ranked last year? What, like, were you number 10, number 20? Do you have any idea where you were last year?
Last year I believe I was like number 8. At the end of the year, I was number 8.
Now you're just not just number 1, but smoking number 1.
Yeah, I had it in my goal, like one of my goals was for this year to be in the top 5. And so far I have stuck with number 1. So I'm just, now that I'm there, I'm going to do everything I can to stay there.
All right. Well, thanks for jumping on a little bit with us. And if you have to go pick up another check, we get it. Hey, Beret, I'm trying to put no pressure on you putting Megan up there. We're talking all that junk or nothing. If it was anybody besides you, I would worry about it, but I know you got it under control. Where's your man out? Is he okay? Is he out and about selling, or?
Yeah, he's out grinding appointments right now.
You know, so you text him and say, "Dad, gummit, Megan's already got 7 apps a day."
I was looking at her numbers last night, and I was like, God dang, we got to get on this, because we're not even nowhere near tracking her.
You know, it is funny how some people don't. They're just not like, they're not like competitors. You know, I'd be like, 390,000 issues. Like,
Yeah.
what would you do different? Well, Jeff Bryce can talk. Maybe we trained some people wrong. Maybe we need to change the way we train. So when y'all bring on new agents, y'all want to pay attention to this training strategy we have.
Gotcha.
And see if we can get them trained. Y'all have already, have y'all won Thailand already, Bray?
Yes, we earned Thailand, I believe, about 3 weeks ago. So we're on our way to Thailand, and we've got a new agent that's killing it. He's got some bonus points in there, so we're super excited.
Who's that?
Who's that? Steve. His name is Stephen Haley. He's out in Washington and Spokane. And so he got started. It's only his 4th week in the business. He's submitted about just over 10,000 AP. 3.5 weeks in, and just over 4,000 of it has been issued already. And his wife Kayla is in license class right now, getting ready to get her license as well.
I really think, looking at the numbers for the whole company, we're all starting to find them and get them up and running fast. So hopefully this training is the perfect time. But congratulations. Have y'all ever been to Thailand before?
No. No.
I didn't think so. People ask me, "Are you going with the COVID?" I said, "No, we're going to leave the COVID here."
I'm excited.
I'm pretty sure we'll go over there. I'm pretty sure shortly it's going to disappear and be like it was never here. So, all right. Well, good to have you on here. Congratulations on winning. And Sydney and Justin, how you guys doing? I know you guys were talking junk. I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday. Y'all were so fired up. I think it's yesterday we were talking.
Yep.
About that jet.
Yeah.
What's been happening?
A lot. I mean, so Sydney and I have both been doing 40 appointments a week. And right now, I think we have 8 other people doing 40 appointments a week. And something that we learned, Andy, is just because people are doing 40 appointments a week does not mean that they're going to get results. So here's what we started doing is we started doing daily intermittent coaching every 3 people that someone talked to with an appointment. And some people it's after every appointment, but some people it's after every 3 appointments. What's happening, what's going on. And now we're starting to see these people that are doing 40 appointments a week starting to incrementally get better and get more results. And what I know is that if they continue getting better and continue doing at least 40 appointments a week, all of them are going to be doing at least 40,000 issue paid a month. And I had to take a back seat for a second and get some coaching myself from Paul Minichino on my no-show ratio. And here's what had happened since Mr. Albright is so far, these last 2.5 weeks, Sydney and I have submitted $65,000 in business, 50 applications. You done seen 19,000 of it issue paid up in there so far. Get ready for the fire. We coming for y'all.
That might be perfect. It might be perfect timing on this training thing. Except they already fixed it, Jeff. See, that's what happens to me. I already fixed it.
Yeah.
For my life.
No, we need more.
We'll take some more.
Please.
I think it's going to help you. Sydney, you kicking some butt, buddy?
Yes, sir. Running my 40 appointments, helping our team run their 40 appointments. Excited about what my family has going on. Just before this call, Jane Hill jumped on a Zoom with my sister, my mom, and my sister's friend Valeria, and was doing some sales training. And I'm excited about them. My mom is working on a $300 a month deal today. My sister's gotten paid for the first time last Friday. Valeria wrote her first deal. So just a lot of good things happening. And it's exciting when, anyone does it, but it's especially exciting when my family does it. My family's starting to kick butt and my dad's killing it as well. So yeah, I'm just excited about what's going on.
Back, Beret, this new guy that Ashlyn was texting me, I think she's talking about, did he use those $8 internet leads? The one that y'all realize these leads are $12 for the rest of the world. We're getting them for $8, a deal we cut. Talk to us, Beret. Did he get a lot of them? How much money did he spend? Did y'all invest? Did he invest? And then wrote that much business in the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, so his first week in the business, we didn't use any of the Mail Pro. We picked up all the A-Series reworks there in Spokane. And so his first weekend, I think Jake and I invested $250 in him. He invested $100 in himself. And then so he booked his first weekend 21 appointments. And then his second weekend, we did the Mail Pro. There was no more A-Series, maybe just a couple here and there. And so we invested, I believe, another $200 in the Mail Pro, and he also invested $200. So his second week, we invested a total of $400 in leads for him. And then this third week, I know he did the majority of it off of Mail Pro, and then we picked up the A-Series as well as Mail Pro. So
how much have you written so far?
So far he's written over 10,000, just over 10,000. 4,000 of it has been issued.
And how long? In 3 weeks?
Yeah, that's been about 3.5 weeks.
All right. So one of the things that I keep trying to get people to understand is if you get a person to buy $2,000 worth of leads and they make $3,000, we might be disappointed. Like, oh man, $2,000, you made $3,000, but he sees some success. Versus if you get a person $50 worth of leads and they just bang their head against the wall and they get nothing, you're like, But if you spend $2,000, he sells 8 apps or 7 apps, and you might not feel like you're getting the highest ROI, but it's success we're shooting for. If we can get a person writing business because they've got enough leads, then it turns into success. Now we can start working on the coaching to get them to issue pay $10,000 a week, and maybe worry more about the profitability. Right. I would still keep worrying about the trajectory, trying to get people up and recognize and having successes come through. Quality of business, number of apps. Right. Also, Ashton said you already got a GMR set up.
Yep. So his GMR started last week. And so I believe I'd have to ask Jake. He knows better. Ask Steven himself. I don't know. I know he was looking to invest $200 a week. So in Spokane, there wasn't a lot of A-Series. So I believe he set up 100 of it for the GMR, and then also him putting 100 a week in the Mail Pros, and then Jake and I matching that every week. But he did just get his GMR set up.
Nice. I don't want to make this all lead talk, but I would tell you guys to think about the county that he's working in. Every GMR, final expense, mortgage protection. Talk to Bang Bang. Get every Bang Bang they can lead. Talk to the lead department and say, hey, I want every single internet lead when they come in through Mail Pro. Let's get those as quick as possible. because that way he has a big concentration in every county. Anybody that's not doing that, I think you're just absolutely missing out on great ROI and concentrated of effort and keeping other people kind of like keeping that territory for yourself. Because if somebody comes in and starts wanting your leads and all the other leads, the company's obviously going to lean to the one that's going all in because of the statistics are going to go through the blue route because of the concentration. All right, well, guys, I hope this is helpful. What we're going to do here, I'm actually positive it will be. And I was talking to Paul Menachino and said, I said there was a song and that I said I'm trying to think about, because it's not just do you get them to do it, but can you make them feel good? Let's see if y'all heard it. I'll speed up. Y'all heard that? Maybe shut down. I play too much. Y'all know what it says next, right? Y'all know what it says next, right? Everybody knows. You make me feel like dancing.
I want to dance the night away.
Woo! Okay, so how do we make them feel like running 40 or 50 appointments a week? How do we make them feel like is you paying $10,000 a week? How do we get the confidence there? How do we get the feeling there? It's just not enough that we do it. How do we get the feel inside of them? How did the young guy that Bray got up and running? How Megan Wood has got Chris Manifold, and how Mike and Noel have got Chris Manifold, and now they're helping Annette Ivy. How do you get them to feel confident? How do you get them to feel like making the move? So we're going to kind of talk to you about the best practices, psychological, to get people to understand the program. So what you're talking about, Bailey, how do we get them doing it right? So Tia, if you will pull up the slideshow, we will get started on the behaviors that we need to do for training for folks to get them up and going. Let's keep it right there for a second, Andy.
Okay. Let's keep it right there. We're going to talk about Andy's song because there's two parts to that song. He played the first part and I said the second part, and that's really what we need to talk about before we get into these slides. Because these slides, hey Andy, do you have your coin with you that you can hold up?
Kidding me, bro? You must be kidding me.
Yeah. What side is that? What side is that?
What do I want?
All right. So show them the other side.
How do I get it?
How do I get it? So these slides.
How do I get it?
These slides are addressing how do you get it. So we need to do a little bit of pre-training on why we don't talk about that first side of the coin when we're doing skill-based training. Skill-based training is telling people how to do it, but we are ignoring the fact that the first side of that coin says, what do they want? If they don't figure out what they want, they're not probably going to follow the process that we set in place. So before we get into this this don't versus do thing, Andy, can you quiz some of these people on if they know, because Andy's already put in place what these slides are talking about. I just kind of made them more academic. Tell them what we used to call it or what you came up with, TLC. Don't even tell them what it means. Ask them if they know what it means.
I know they know.
Okay.
I know Sydney know. Sydney, tell them what TLC means. Explain it to the man.
Teach, listen, correct.
All right.
Yeah. Elaborate on that just a tad.
That's good. That's good. Teach, listen, correct. All right. So you're going to see a lot of similarities in that in these slides. We actually added a fourth step. So there's 4 steps here. So, Sydney, what does the title of these slides say? What does it say?
4 reasons why agents don't book 40 appointments a week.
So why didn't I say 4 reasons why they do book 40 appointments a week? Why did I strategically say don't?
Because most people aren't already doing it, so we don't need to worry about like why they do it if most of them aren't doing it yet. So we got to get over the reasons why they're not doing it so that we can get to doing it.
I like that. I like that thinking. There's another reason that I did that strategically, is that people will run away from a don't faster than they run toward a do. People will run away. What do you say, Andy, about a flame that burns you?
What burns my butt more than anything? A flame about this high and unused potential.
Unused potential.
People may be good and just won't do it.
People will avoid. If you tell them they can't do something or they shouldn't do something or don't do it, they're more apt to run away from that. People want to run away from failure, but they don't want to run toward a pot of gold. So that's why I suggested we call it don't, because I could very well call it do. So with that said, the coin says, what do you want? There is a preamble to that coin that we have not addressed yet as the Alliance family. Me and Andy talked about it today. There's something that keeps people from telling you what they really want. When they tell you what they want, they're really telling you what they respond to. And it's two different things. What you respond to and what you want are not the same. Now, as you get older, those two things morph into the same thing. And you actually, as you get older, will discover how to be happy. But most people respond to something that makes them feel good, but they want something that makes them happy, which is two different things, which they should not be. They should be the same, but they are not, and there's a huge gap between them. So let's get back to the song that Andy said, that he started off this call with. You make me feel like dancing, right? You make me feel like dancing. And then I said, and I want to dance the night away. See, that song has morphed the feel and the want together. They're not mutually exclusive of each other. But most of our agents, they want to book 40 appointments. They just don't feel like booking 40 appointments. If we can get them to feel like booking, they'll want to book 40 appointments. And that, so here's an example. Maybe it's not the best example, but back when I was at the college, I told Andy a lot of the, and you would not think this would happen with 18-year-olds, but guys would come up to me and go, I would think they want to ask me about what they learned today and about my teaching. They wanted to know if I knew a way that I could tell them to talk to that girl over there in the corner, that pretty little girl over in the corner. Can you give me some pointers? And I'm like, I don't think that's my purpose for being here, but I wanted to think she's a little bit out of your league, but we can have this discussion. He goes, well, she likes me as a friend. I'm in the friend zone, and she tells me I'm a good person and I'm the type that she wants to marry. But every time I look over, she's with somebody that's the complete opposite of what she wants. She told me that bad boy she likes makes her feel good, but she knows that I would make her happy. See the gap that I had to deal with back then? Thank God I don't have to have that discussion anymore with you people. But here's another one. People want financial freedom, don't they? They say they want financial freedom. But what makes them feel good is taking a break, drinking, drugs, getting on Facebook. Any type of distraction makes them feel good and takes them away from what they want. So their want is not big enough to defeat what they respond to. Does that make sense? So I think we needed to have that discussion, because we talk about the coin, what do you want? A lot of people can't even tell you honestly what they want, because when they do, they'll say, I want to feel good, basically. They're telling you what they respond to, not what they want. All right, I spent a lot of time on that. Can we go to the next slide, Tia? So we have gone over, Andy has, belief or the lack of belief, expectations, the absence of those, what happens when you don't have expectations for people today. If we don't have, when I say lack of training, when we and Andy are going to talk about this, I'm not talking about the absence of training. I'm talking about the lack of consistent training, that we're not all doing it the same way. I think some of us may teach real well. We may not do the L real well, and we might do the C real well. We're not doing all three in order, and we're not doing all three consistently the same. So we're going to talk about consistency in the training. And I'm going to introduce, and Andy's going to comment on the 4 steps. So, hey, Tia, can you go, before we do this, go to page 6? You know, we have a circle every time. Andy's gone through these circles. These are big words, and I just want you to understand that we're going to break them down into simple words. But I wanted to put the big words up here because I wanted to give credit to the people that created them. So, do you all see the words demonstration, deconstruction, comprehension, and execution? Those are the recognized 4 steps of the learning process, or the learning cycle, created by a guy named Walker Payton, who is the guru of all learning. And these are the 4 steps that I've seen in every business I've been to. They cover these 4. Now, do you see the 4 things in between those 4 steps? Preparation, presentation, application, evaluation. Those come from the 4 steps of the training process. And this guy's name is Jansen. These 2 are the 2 gurus in the business. So me and Andy are going to show you how those words in between actually set up the next word. So let's go back to page 3. And Andy and I are going to talk about this quote that gets us into this. I had Andy in mind when I picked this quote out. I don't know who this woman is, other than she's some new age guru about how to feel good about life. She got a strange name. Anything you learn becomes wealth, a wealth that cannot be taken away from you. Andy, tell him how important. I mean, he is so big into learning and training here at the staff level. Tell them about the book meeting. Why do you make people read books, and we have book meetings like Book of the Month?
Your only appreciable asset is people, and the number 1 people in your life is you. That's why when you see a guy that's made a lot of money and he worked for it and he loses it, he can make it back because he knows how he did it. And that's why you see people that make money because they don't know how they did it, or it's just a God-given talent. For example, a football player, a basketball player, he's 7'4", or he can jump 4 foot high, or he's fast as lightning. He don't know how he got the money. It's going to be hard for him to ever get the money back, and it'll be hard for him to keep it. So it's that knowledge and understanding is where the power is. And then the cult part is the feel. Like this is only going to work if you use parables, stories, examples, and help people catch it. And it helps if you are it, because then people can catch it from you. It's kind of like COVID-19. It's the most, like they say, it's contagious as hell. Anybody can get it. Here's the problem. Not if they ain't around nobody that's got it, you ain't going to get it. Same thing with selling. You ain't around nobody that's got it, you ain't going to get it. You ain't going to catch it.
Andy puts a premium on reading, because I think reading has changed your life, right?
Yep.
If you look at that last sentence that Andy's talking about on the moral, it says, and not all things you are trained on are taught, but rather called. And I think, Justin, you said at the beginning of this call, you said something about being grateful or a humble spirit. If people don't have that teaching's not going to stick, because it's not going to be caught, right? There's a quote by Yates that says, education is not just the filling of a pot, which is the teaching part, but rather it's also, and most importantly, the lighting of a fire. The lighting of a fire. That is the caught part. We not only have to fill the pot and fill their knowledge pot with knowledge, we've got to light the fire, or they're not going to go after it. Just because we give them the tools And just because we give them the skills doesn't mean they're going to go after it. So that's kind of what this quote's about. And do you want to say anything else about that quote? Because you always talk about taught and caught all the time.
Always talk about what? Say
taught and being something being caught.
Well, it's people underestimate. They underestimate the attitude of teaching and attitude of expectations, and people. And I recatch them too. I'm told that if you experience COVID one person, but if you got 3 people with it and you're around them, or anything where it's 3 people, that peer pressure gets to you. It's just easier to get caught. But I think, I know this, it gets caught deeper. And this is, by the way, this is true stuff from health-wise. If you're around people just for a short time, but if you're around kind of that's that hook, that fish hook, or that disease, or the attitude of winning is what we want people to catch from you, Justin and Sydney. We want them to catch that winning attitude and sink it down deep. That's why we talk to them 2-3 times a day if they're sharp and they're ambitious in the beginning, because we want them to catch it. And sometimes you have to be around people a lot to get them to catch something. So they're just trying to learn it. Learning it's kind of instant once they catch it.
Yeah. We always said, everything you do matters, because you don't know what part of what you do is going to make a difference. Because people learn at different levels, and it takes them different times to figure stuff out. So you can't really take a break from having that contagious spirit. Let's go to page 4, and we're going to talk about those 4 steps that Peyton came up with. And this is kind of like, I'm instead of reading this to you right off the bat, what we're going to do is just kind of like briefly go over it, and we'll come back to it. Demonstration is basically, I'm going to get you to see what I'm doing in real time. Now, me and Andy were talking about this, about learning something from somebody. The way I was taught to teach in these train-the-trainer workshops that I did, I would go around and teach people how to run a machine. Because if they didn't do it the right way, they didn't just lose a cell, they might lose a finger or an arm. Because those machines, Andy will tell you, those machines were serious business. So when I used to teach tennis, I would make the student sit and watch me hit tennis with somebody else. I told them I don't want them hitting tennis. I don't want them to sit there and take notes, put the notebook down. I want you to watch me teach somebody. How many of you that are on the call right now, when you go to teach somebody to dial, do you let them just sit there in silence and watch you dial and do your thing? Is that your first actual step in teaching somebody any aspect of this business? We'll open it up to ask somebody that.
Do you use Zoom? Did the new person, Ray, you had on here, the people, those couples you're coaching, Noel, did you let them see somebody make calls on a Zoom or in person?
We did, and we do. We have, what we've been doing lately is we have a Zoom going, and we have a broadcast dialer. Whoever it is, it switches up every Monday or Thursday. We have somebody broadcasting, and we have new agents listen in and watch, because it's on Zoom, and learn that process. And so that's what we've been doing and continue to do. And I think Stephen Haley was on that at some point. Ray can speak to that, but yeah.
Yeah, Stephen's on every Monday and Thursday with all of us, and he's on early to listen to the dialer, and then he, at 8 a.m. his time, he's jumping on and being on the phone as well.
That's good to hear, because step 1 and step 3 are the most ignored steps. Most people do step 2 and step 4. 90% of the population just do 2 and 4. They don't want to take the time to have somebody sit there and watch them do it. The reason you do that, one of the reasons, look at the possible blockage. Look at that blockage. The learner does not know how to do it. What I meant that to represent is people that have never done this business or never seen somebody dial, they have anxiety about it. So it's not that they don't know how to do it. It's not knowing how to do it gives them anxiety. So to watch you do it and make it look simple, it eases their anxiety. That's one of the reasons you do the scene. And it is important that you do take time to do this because you're setting up the other step. All right. Let's go to step 2. The teacher performs every step slowly. So now you're going to try to get them to concentrate, not just see it, but now they're going to concentrate on it. You're going to break it down into subsets, and you're going to do a little bit at a time slowly, so they will not be uncomfortable being trained. So because people that are uncomfortable are not thinking about concentrating on the steps. They're going to miss stuff. And Andy, you pointed out to me today that this is a place, number 2, where you could add the intangibles. You could say, in my experience, I've found this to be true, or you could tell them tips. Could you elaborate on that?
I don't think I caught what you said. I don't understand.
When you're trying to break it down slowly, you could interrupt while you're talking to the person and say, yeah, in my experience, here's a helpful tip. This is a good time to express tips.
Yeah. We're all tempted not to do that because we're trying to get the thing done. There's 2 temptations. One is to not do it at all, and the other thing is to keep talking forever. Okay? Some people, they will stop, Jeff, and they'll explain something for an hour and not get anything done. Other people don't tell you nothing. Somewhere in between there is where it's got to be. Like you understand, the reason we dial 3 times and then hang up is because it takes too long to get to the answer machine. It never helps. We're not leaving a voicemail. So watch how I'm doing it. Like we're not joking. Dial it, let it ring 3 times, hang up. 1001, hit it again. 1001, hit it again. And then start doing it again. So it's tips, but keep moving. Don't stop. And please give tips. And hopefully, I would love interaction where they're asking questions for clarification.
You know what's beautiful about teaching this to you guys is that the people that I would be teaching it to in an industry, they don't give tips. And the reason they don't is because they say to me it's job security if they keep all the good tips to themselves. They don't want nobody to look better than them. Thank God we don't have that going on in this business. Y'all are successful and you want other people to be successful. All right.
Real quick, while you're talking about that, Andy, I was just thinking, when we have somebody listening to the broadcast dialer on our Zoom to kind of get a feel for how to make a phone call or whatever, the coaching that goes with that, or the tip, if you want, is pay attention to the words, but pay attention to how they're saying it, how fast they're going, how slow they're going, and how they're speaking to the client. I don't know if that's a tip, but that is a tip congruent to them learning the demonstration part of it, if that makes sense.
I love it.
Or I'm going to just add one other piece that sometimes we may not slow down while somebody's performing their script, but we will do a debrief for people that were observing and saw something and come back if we're doing a training session later that day, which we do, and say, hey, did you notice this? Okay, well, watch. Here's why he did this. Here's how. So it may be at another time if we have to, but making sure. Did you see he did the aim, acknowledge, ignore, and move forward when he got the objection? Whatever those pieces are, it's making sure we do interject those bits and being intentional about it. Because sometimes the trick is happening, but you don't recognize it's a magic trick unless somebody breaks it down and said, here's a secret to how we did it.
That's good. That's good. All right, let's go to number 3. We're gonna put this all back together. I just want to kind of introduce. So number 2, I think a lot of people do try to break stuff down and go through it slowly. Number 3 is where you allow the person you're teaching to actually tell you what they've heard you say and let them walk you back through it so that you can make sure 2 things. They comprehended and they acquired the knowledge that's going to allow them to solo in step 4. Look at the blockage here. You know, some people at this point, because they've heard you break it down slowly, they think they're ready to solo in step 3, and they're not. They think they know it all by this point. And it's really important that we allow them to tell us back what they just heard us say. And so far, what you have heard me say is demonstration or seeing. I'm going to give you a nickname for that. In the field, we call that the crawl stage. Okay? Deconstruction and concentrating is the walking stage. Comprehension and acquiring is the jog stage. And now we're getting ready to go into the run stage. But Andy and I talked about this morning. I do not want you to see, and I don't think you do, but I want to make sure that you don't think that these steps happen far apart from each other. They're right on top of each other, and it happens relatively fast. It's not something you spend a lot of time on. You show them how to do it in real time. You do it again slower for them. Then you ask them to describe what they just saw, and now we're ready for them to do it, and you watch them do it by themselves without your help, and they're soloing. Look at the blockage on doing or executing. They don't know why it's done that way. We're hoping by this point they see now why they do it the way you told them, because most people at this point are looking for shortcuts to the way you told them to do 10 steps. They're looking to see if they can do it in 5 steps. Hopefully, if you did a good job, they're not going to take your steps out. They're going to go by your 10 steps and not try to modify it at this point. All right. And do you want to say anything before we go to page 5? We're going to come and put this all back together. But
well, I would just say this too, like it's not going to be right the first time, but we are going to start back over and come back through all 4 of these again. It's not like you're going to teach one time through this, teaching how to make phone calls, you're going to get there. And keeping open to paying attention to what they're doing. Because kind of bail it, what we were talking about, just because they book in 40 appointments don't mean it's good if 12 of them show up. So we got to go back around and do again on why on every single step again. Or I should say we should take time on each step again. Is it watch me, let me tell you a few tips why, let me watch you, you tell me why, and then you go do it. And then we look at results. Every single time we got to look at results and see, even on a machine, Jeff, it's the same thing. Teaching a person to run a machine. I mean, on the karting machines, we used to put those big laps on the back and how you put them up there and how you tuck it in without your fingers getting caught in. Woo, you see them doing, I mean, some of that stuff, like I said, take your finger off, your arm off. You know, you might have to hit them over the head real quick, keep them dying or something. This is not like that. It is going to cost you a little bit on leads if they're not good. In other words, they'll waste the lead. You can stop them pretty quick. But it's just rotating through this over and over and over again is how people get good.
Yep. All right. We'll revisit here in a second. Let's just get we're going through this vocabulary here. Let's go to the pieces that are connecting these together on page 5. Now, I hope you understand what I did. I took 2 theories and mashed them together. So you basically got 2 processes mashed together in this circle. So preparation sits right between step 1 and step 2 of getting people to see you do it and then explain it to them slowly. The word preparation is really not, I mean, I don't like that word, but that's the word that Jansen used. Really what that is that you are now at this point assessing whether they want to be a learner, where they're ready to learn. Are they ready to observe? Are they motivated at this point to be a learner? Are they ready to accept what's being handed down to them? Because at this point, if you got somebody that's disinterested and you're trying to explain to them how to dial, and you turn and they're supposed to be sitting beside you the next minute, they're always in the bathroom or they're in the kitchen, and they're always eating or getting something to drink, and they're like, yeah, keep going, I hear you. They're not totally vested in this learning process. So you're preparing them and you're preparing yourself to see if you want to waste your time or not, and to move from the crawl stage to the walk stage. Andy, don't you think this is one of the most crucial pieces, that you know how to disseminate whether somebody's worth spending a lot of time on?
That's why you hire 12 and you're working with the top 2 or 3. So you invite on 12, one of them's going to be early, the other one's going to be right on time, and then a lot of them going to be late. They don't care. You're going to get real frustrated trying to teach the ones that don't want to be taught.
If these people are not accepting, they're going to see what you're doing with their common eye and not their seeing eye. And that's 2 different things. A common eye only sees the outside of the process and only sees the obvious. The seeing eye reads the intentions behind why you're doing it. Because believe me, when me and Andy are talking about textiles and manufacturing, there is a reason that you do step 2 before step 3. We're trying to get you to not be killed or lose a body part. There is a reason why these people, like Mike, has been around and he does it the way he does it. There's a reason why you don't take out one of his steps. One is disrespectful, and the other one, you're probably not going to be successful by not modeling his behavior. Mike, would you like to comment on that?
There's 2 pieces. I think the one is, and I think I could almost, if we've got people here, if you're a new agent, you're listening, or if you're someone that's coaching a new agent. And so if you're here as a new agent, you're listening, how do you be the one that's showing up that deserves a higher level coaching? It's like, it can be easy to say, well, I'm self-employed, I'm independent, I'm my own boss. Yeah. But any good boss is going to be getting, any business owner is worth their salt, getting some coaching, has some outside influence. So be present to learn, because you're also competing for people to reinvest more time and emotional energy and money in you. So be the one that's worthy of attracting the investment dollars or the coaching or whatever it is, the time spent. So be the one, stand out. It's like I tell people, call from the home, be present on your dial day to get coaching, be present on your appointment day, and be present on your preparation day to make sure you got leads. So that's for the guy that's the agent. Now, as the coach, like Andy said, we got to make sure we're looking for the ones out of several that are really showing up. And then are we making sure that we are pouring into them what they need and saying, hey, look, here's the steps. And if they're acting like, God, that seems weird, so yeah, it does seem weird. Here's why. If this is good enough, all right, let's move to the next step. Sometimes we got to sell them on something if it looks like, if we get the feeling like they think it's weird or uncomfortable. And sometimes the stuff we're doing, for someone that doesn't understand why, is uncomfortable.
Mike, do you think, I'm going to read this to you, tell me what you think. See, the word acceptance is a big deal here. Acceptance for some people means they are resigning themselves that they don't know everything, that they've lost control of the situation. They're having to listen to somebody else for the first time in their life. But you know what? That's not what acceptance means. It means understanding that something that is important enough that has been put down in a process way before you entered the situation, and it could be beneficial to you creating a bigger bank account. That's what acceptance means here. It doesn't mean you are like losing your place in life by being humbling yourself to listen to somebody else. And that's what I've run into in my time trying to teach people in a classroom, is I walk in first day and they're really not accepting of the process because they don't want to be there. Somebody else made them be there. All right. Let's go to the second one, presentation. Presentation is sitting between the walk stage and the jog stage. We are telling people here that we're going to transfer some new knowledge into their head. We're hopefully going to have their attention span where it needs to be so that they can enter into the concentration stage. Here, transferring knowledge requires you to audit them while they're that transferal is taking place. If you don't stop every once in a while saying, hey, am I going slow enough? Are you getting it? Andy, you say this a lot. You have what's the saying?
You tracking?
You track it. That's all this number 2 is. He says that a lot. He's not saying it because it's a tick. He's saying it because he actually wants to make sure you're staying with him. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Yeah. So it's become a catchphrase.
Sometimes I will, if you say, yeah, I'm tracking, I go, yeah, then repeat it back to me. And it's funny because other people around me are like, why is he making them do that? And then they're way wrong, way off, way confused. No, that's why I'm doing that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not a catchphrase. It's become a catchphrase, but it has an intent.
Are you tracking with me, Bo? Are you tracking with me, Bo?
Listen to this, Andy. It's a quote, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. Listen to this quote. An exceedingly confident student would, in theory, make a terrible student. At this stage, somebody that's increasingly confident generally turns into being the worst student possible because they have not humbled themselves to think they don't know it all. And they're going to allow, because right here is an important step, guys. That transfer of content is not going to happen if you're arrogant. It's not going to happen. So I just want to point that out.
Arrogant and failing. Arrogant and failing. That's a bad combo.
You know what? People that are arrogant and failing that I had in class, Andy, guess what their next move was?
Blame
Guess
you.
what their next move was?
Blame you.
Tell their parents that their teacher ain't teaching.
It's an idiot.
I'm a terrible teacher because they're flunking.
Well, good news, it ain't them.
Good news is I don't know what happened to them.
I got a couple agents. I want to reach out to them. I wish they'd be watching. Hey, good news, it's not your fault, buddy. Love you. Hey, good news, it was me. I can change.
So are we ready? Let's go to the application. Number 3, application. Now, this is the stage between jog and running. This ensures that they understood what you just said for accuracy reasons and consistency reasons. I'm not quite sure that we are 100% good on either one of these, accuracy and consistency. I believe if we went around and polled people about how they train people to book 40 appointments, for example, Noel, do you think we would get, of the 48 people there that we talk about, Noel, do you think everybody is consistently doing it the same way? And accuracy, are they getting the same results?
No, I don't think so. I can only speak for me. I try to be as consistent and accurate, but I know I'm missing things too. So that's just me understanding as a coach or, as a person doing that I need to continue to practice.
Do you think, Noel, do you think it's important that at this point, if we don't get this right, we're getting ready to turn them loose to run appointments? If we do a better job with accuracy, consistency, you know what? I think we're going to get more success from this person, but at the same time, they're not going to get frustrated. This is where they could get frustrated because they're going to be thinking, well, you told me a lie that this was going to work out. We're so really quick on the draw to go ahead and push people out there without making sure that they have accuracy and consistency. Because you know where this is going to show up when you don't do a good job on this one? It's going to show up in their placement and persistence.
Correct. And I do think, and I know that we do, like I want to get them out as soon as possible. I'm not going to lie, Jeff. I'm like, I want you running today. We do go over these things, but I think a big piece of this, and maybe this is in the other parts you have, but a big piece is while they're applying what they've already learned, is the coach or the trainer talking to them while they're doing it. Like, call from the home, call me, make sure you don't leave without a check, all those things. We've got to be in between coaching them while they're applying all this. And I think by doing that, they'll become more consistent and they'll have a lot more success. But it's the coaches that have to do that and make sure that's happening.
And don't you think, Noah, that's you see that word correction? This is the correction piece where you are going to correct them, not because you want to call them out, it's because you don't want them to mess up. So this is the time that you should criticize and say, no, don't do it that way. I need to correct you. You've got it all wrong. You misunderstood me. This could save us a lot of headache if we are not. I know some people are afraid to correct. John Maxwell said this: a man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them and want them corrected. Yeah.
So I'm going to jump in on that too. We have to keep people.
Mike's gonna correct me.
I'm like, I'm not afraid to correct Noelle, but I'm afraid to correct her. Okay. So, don't try to coach or correct your spouse if you plan on sleeping with them. That would be my first thing. Get someone else to do it. But as an agent, as they're coming up to speed, we've got to get them to do and correct, but we can't wait until they know everything. Like, we've got to give them a chunk, have them do it. The next thing is we've got to celebrate what they're doing right. So because some people I know some people are so unafraid that they're going to tell only the person the things they're doing wrong, which can be destructive. So it's the first thing is say, hey, look, you made dials, you got connects, you booked appointments. Hey, the people even showed up. So can we acknowledge the things that they're doing right and then say, okay, here's the part of the appointment that we messed up on. You did 4 things wrong, 4 things right, 2 things wrong. You did call from the home, you did this, and we've got to continue to reinforce the right things as much as then be bold about, okay, here's the one thing, let's fix this, and let's not make this mistake again, and keep calling from the home, and call me after the appointment. We'll debrief a little bit further.
I'm sorry, Jeff. One other thing on what Mike was saying real quick is Michael say this quite often is you got to fill up your bank with them, like your coaching bank, meaning if you're recognizing them and acknowledging the good things that they do, then you have the ability, because you've banked all that emotion and recognition, then you have the ability to correct back from that. So that's a big point what Mike just said there.
Yeah, so I will sum up what y'all just said, because Mike just went into number 4, the identification piece, and I want to make sure we understand correction piece is that you don't stop them from going forward to the do stage. You just correct the obvious stuff that's going to get them in trouble. That's going to get them in trouble and stop the sale. That's the only thing you correct the big rocks. Okay. Then in step 4, after they've run the appointment, you come back and evaluate and identify the piece that has holes in it, where they failed or they struggled. You start going back over. That's the identification piece that you're talking about, Mike. So you let them run, you correct the big rocks, let them run, and then come back and start micromanaging the small rocks and let them talk about what went wrong or what surprised them. The holes that maybe you forgot to tell them something. And, that's the evaluation piece. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. So we're putting this all together.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
And like the same thing happens here. Some people are all about negative and some people are all about positive. All they do is bitch. And then there's other ones. All they do is blow smoke up people's butt and tell them how great they are. This ain't going to work and this ain't going to work. Nobody's perfect with acting like they are, and nobody's god awful, the worst person in the world, with acting like they are. Somewhere in between there that works, we're shooting for. Because how do I know if it's working or not? Well, that's number 4. Look at the results. You can't tell me how good you are and how perfect you are. I mean, I don't tell them too much negative. I don't tell them too much positive. I go, really? How come we're not getting guys doing 40 appointments on your team? How come we don't have guys writing 40,000 on your team. How come? I'm guessing you're either too much of this or too much of that. Which one are they? I don't know which one you are. I just know number 4 ain't working. See the number. I know what time it is.
You know what? Let me just. I just. It'd be better if I just read this right here about evaluation before we put that circle back up. When the learner can master self-evaluation, and they don't have to come to you every time and say, "Hey, let's go back over what you think I did wrong." Once they can self-evaluate their own skill in the home, then they're ready to demonstrate these skills that they've learned to the next person. That's when they're ready to graduate, so to speak, and they become the trainer once they can self-evaluate. Let me say this. Aristotle said this, and I want to. This is about the doing part that we're evaluating. Because listen, steps 1, 2, and 3 are great. They should happen bam, 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 right on top of each other, and we get people out in the field doing. I'm all for that. And guess who else was for that? Aristotle. He said, I'm just going to quote what he said, and we'll break it down. For the things we have to learn before we can do them. Or he's saying the things that are out there for us to learn that we're going to have to do them after we learn. He says we learn best by doing them. I am totally in agreement with Aristotle. I'm just saying we need to do this setup of step 1, 2, and 3, but they are going to learn best once they get their rear end in the home. Well, as fast as we can get them in the home and do evaluation, that's where your coaching is going to come into play, is how crucial you spend time on evaluation is going to determine how better they get. So, booking 40 appointments and applying this, it sounds like, God, that's a little overkill if I do step 1, 2, and 3, and 4. But you know what? If we can get everybody doing it the same way, we're probably going to get the same result. So let's go back to the circle, Andy, and let's just talk about the circle. Now that you've heard us talk about this, getting people to see you doing it, getting them to accept it so that they can actually comprehend, so they can actually, I was looking at the wrong thing. So that they can actually hear what you say when you break it down. We're going to inherit a lot of people that's going to go, hey, let's just get on with it. Show me one time how to make a dial. I'm good. Leave me alone. That person worries me more than the person that tells me after the 10th dial, I hadn't got it yet. Justin, what do you think about somebody that when they get too cocky to do this, do you think are we going to be successful unless we get people to follow a system here?
Hell no, is what I would say. The problem is that if they are too cocky, too confident, they know it all, they now are no longer coachable, which is one of the attributes that we need in order to get people to where they want to go. Because their dumb thought process has gotten them to where they're at. They can't get to someplace else doing the same thing that they've been doing. So if they already think they know it all, we're kind of screwed in the deal. Kind of move on, find another.
Hey, yesterday, Jeff, this guy, Rich, president of a company, he said, check your most expensive luggage at the door. Your ego.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Dope.
I totally get it.
Dope.
I never had children of my own, but I've had children, and they were called stepchildren, which is a thankless job, by the way. And I would have my way that I wanted them. I have a list on the refrigerator of the things they need to do when they got home. One of them would vacuum one day, one would dust the, you know, did the house need to be vacuumed every day? No. Did it need to be dusted every day? No. But I had them something to do, and I had a certain way they had to do it. And the whole time they would fight me on my steps. You know, I want them to pull the furniture out first and vacuum behind that, then put it back. They wanted to do that last. They didn't understand. They wanted to keep fighting me on the order in which I did it. And you know what? It didn't really matter if they did one before the other. I just wanted to teach them to follow a process. We've got to get people to do it just because we say this is the way it should be done. And we've got to back each other and say, this is how we all do it. Because if you let somebody have one chance to alter the process, they're going to start messing with it. And then they're going to take liberties. And then I'm not worried about that person that you taught that took liberties, Sydney. I'm worried about who they're going to teach. So that's we're getting close to the end, Andy. So that's basically that process.
You know, it's either they don't know what they want, they're not motivated, or they don't know how. And believe it or not, sometimes they don't know how, and it's your fault. So you're responsible for you, the circle of you. I reach over there and grab my book, Circle of You. You either don't know what you want, or you don't know how to do it. One of the two. So I know what I want, I know how. Then why you ain't done it? That's when it gets to that fourth thing of evaluation. I'm telling y'all, somebody is going to step up and try to be partner first, and it's going to show up with the results. Who gets the results? And getting in people's space and speeding up how much you motivate them, how much you get them to want it. How do you make them feel like dancing? My theme song. You make me feel like dancing. You know, like you make me feel like going partner. You let me feel like writing 50 appointments a week. It's your job. It's your job for you. Ray, you got two really critical people in the program, you and Jake. A lot of times a girl asks me, they say, how do I motivate my man? I said, well, we're in big trouble. I guess you make him feel like it. I don't know. How you make him feel like it? You know him better than I do. You all up in there seeing what he likes for dinner. I don't know. You got, what's the name of this young guy that y'all recruited in Washington State?
His name is Steven.
Steven. Either want to go partner and want to beat Megan Wood or don't. So if I look at him, I'm telling you, I think, I believe, I feel like you can whoop her. At least 1 week out of the next 4 weeks. Let's go after it. You got 24 times 7. You got 168 hours. Excessive. Y'all know I can talk about something like that. Circles. Telling stories. Talking about how crazy people are. Robert Wilson's doing it. Mark Hutchinson's doing it. Y'all ever talk to Mark Hutchinson? He's on here right now. I ought to get him on here and say, seriously, you don't think y'all can beat Mark Hutchinson, Sydney? You and Justin combined? Seriously? It's your job, Mike. This is an academic way. The question is, when I say TLC, are you really getting into the nitty gritty and doing each one of these things? Because this is what I've been asking you to do when I say TLC. When I talk to your agent and I see he has 0 annuity production, and I say to him, are they talking to you about it? And he says, no. I'm going, what the hell? You have a appreciable asset. You have an asset in this person, and you have not evaluated if he's using final expense leave. You've not evaluated if he's doing annuities. You've not evaluated. You've not spent time teaching him. And then if you say, well, yeah, I told him. I asked him, did you tell him? He said, no, I didn't tell him. Then you didn't tell it in a way so he heard it. Now, you say, well, he just don't want to do it. Well, okay, I got you. 10-4. So does he know that you've made that decision? In other words, did you put some other people that are smoking in front of him, or people that are killing it in front of him, and say, hey, I'd like for the rest of y'all to do what this guy's doing? Like it's one guy I got, he does stuff wrong all the time. But he's still really, really better than so many other people. I just sit there and look at him and I go like, he's terrible. He's beating you. So, I want to go to my smart people and say, look, this guy ain't not that smart. I'm telling you, not that smart. So I got to get you that smart to get you there. You agree with that? And if they go like, no, I was beat the hell out of me when I was a kid and I just ain't got no self-image. Okay, I get it. But, I get somebody that was beat. I give them another example. People, I like examples, Jeff. I mean, that first part, that demonstration. And if I can't do it, I want to find somebody else to demonstrate. I don't put somebody else on the pedestal. I like an example. You know what I'm saying?
You like, what did you tell me about getting you played baseball your whole life, but somebody didn't, tell them about that.
Pissed me off. I paid like $10,000 or something, $7,500, went and hung out with John Maxwell, and this guy named, what did I tell you his name was?
Jim Rice.
Jim Rice. This guy's supposed to be an awesome baseball player. He started talking about how to hit the ball. I was so pissed. I was like, I was a decent hitter. I hit 400 in high school, and I was in all this and then a little school, and I was thinking, if I'd had somebody that taught me, my coach, he'd be like, watch the ball closer. But Jim was talking about, he had all kinds of tips on hitting. I was like, I never heard that before in my life. It was like, and you know what I thought? Here's what I thought to myself, Mike. My daddy didn't introduce me to gold medal swimmers like you did for your children. Like your money has put your children in front of gold medalists. Your money has put your children in world-class opportunities to learn swimming. I put my kid in world-class opportunities to do ice hockey. And he can't say I would have been better if I'd had a chance to get taught more. You don't want one of your agents say like, he's talking to me and he goes like, hey, never told him that. I go, well, he probably did. You just didn't understand it. And he goes, no, he didn't. Yeah, he did. Because I know you tried to. But your job is to try and then actually do also. So, like catching comes before hanging, trying comes before doing. So you're trying, but if you're only trying and never do, that's no good either. That's why sometimes I do get people mad. I mean, get a little upset sometimes because I really, really care about them and I hate to see them get embarrassed later on. I mean, don't get me wrong. I pull in Sydney. I say, how many teach my girl? And I know I've heard it, but I'm pulling Sydney in. That's part of the training too. Is where I'm saying we do that. Jeff at the textile mill sometimes. I tell somebody about 5 times. I'm like, Jabbo, come over here, bro. Jabbo, come over there, and he go. I said, you see how he did it? They're like, yeah, I see. You follow what I'm saying? JD McLeod will get JD over there. He show him how to do it. Right? And Martha, she could spit. I mean, don't spit on it. You ain't supposed to spit on it. But, best practices. What other would tell you? He was telling me how he coached in tennis. But catch the ball instead of hitting the ball. I was like, I ain't never heard that before in my life.
They come out there with all their expensive rackets and tennis clothes. And I was teaching at a country club, a bunch of rich kids. And they told me, they go, I want you to teach my kid. I said, your kid needs to leave a racket in the car today, maybe tomorrow too. And you need to come out here and I'm going to hit balls to your kid. He goes, we're paying you to teach him play tennis. I said, that's what I'm doing. This is my kingdom, my rules, my court. You come out here, You go catch balls. And I hit balls to them. Guess where they's catching them, Mike? Way up here, way down here. Guess where you're supposed to hit a tennis ball? Right in here. Ain't none of them caught a ball right here. If you can't catch a ball right here off a bounce, how are you going to hit it right here? You're not in the right place. So, they had to humble themselves to listen to me, but they thought they knew everything before they went out there because they had a nice racket and their parents drove a nice car. They didn't want their kids out there catching balls on a bounce.
Hey, we got to stick to our guns, people. We got to stick to our guns on training, and there's no arguing with the results. So black and white, the numbers. And there's 168 hours in a week. You got plenty of time to get this done and get 10,000 issue paid. I appreciate y'all jumping on here. Megan, congratulations for leading the entire country. We're proud of you, and we know you ain't perfect, and but you just keep putting up the numbers. And Justin and Sydney, ain't none of us perfect, Mike. But we finding them. We finding them. Jeff, I look for us to go to $1 billion overnight now after this daggum training on how to do training.
I hope so.
Peace out. Love y'all. Go kill it.